Welcome, everyone. You are watching our last official studio show just for a minute. You are witnessing a moment in history. We have to go away for a bit to revamp and regroup. It's a good thing. So to my YouTube and Facebook audience, co-host, rep your city in the comments. You are watching the Porch Talk podcast, Shade and Shenanigans edition, originally with myself, Rocky Road, Big Wit, Seneca, Black, and GP. This is episode 60. We have a special guest for today, the mayor of Southfield, Ken Cybers, here. He has returned following his re-election. Thank you to all who voted. Remember, local elections should always be the priority. We're going to kick it with Mayor Cyber and catch up on some things. Click like and share the show right now for us. We appreciate you and your support. Also, the call-in number is 248-854-9850. Shout out to Podcast Studios and Groove Radio Detroit. Make sure you follow them on Facebook. They will have their websites listed on their pages and follow them there also. Vitamin D will follow our show at 5 p.m. and they will remain going live at that hour. Rants and Robes with myself and Big Whip. And Quincy, he is returning for the third episode. It still goes live on Wednesdays on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check it out. Make sure you tune in to Sports Talk with Whitney B. I don't know if it's
going to be Tuesday at 7.
Okay, Tuesday at 7.
I'm sorry. I'm going live.
Yeah, because I didn't want to mess it up. So subscribe to her website, mywhitneybee.com, please. Rocky Road Productions has a goal of $200,000 for the build out of a studio home for all of our shows. We ask that you please donate. Any amount will help. We are also giving away prizes for donations starting over $25. Refer to RockyRoadMedia.com and click on the donations tab for more info. Also, once you get to the donations page to find out the prizes, click the Enter to Win $1,500 tab and it will give you more information. You can stream our podcast on Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeart, amongst other platforms. We ask that you give us a positive review on Apple Podcasts. You can access us on Apple Podcasts via the link in the bio of our Instagram page, or search us at RRP Porch Talk, or you can go to RockyRoadMedia.com under the shows tab. The website will guide you where you need to go. And shout out to Mr. Corned Beef in Highland Park. Make sure you stop by and get one of their tender and delicious corned beef sandwiches and tell them Rocky Road Productions sent you. Now let's get into the show.
Honey, you sound like the end of a pill commercial when they be trying to squeeze in everything.
Yes.
These are the side effects. Blah, 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 blah.
Yes, I mean, you got to keep it moving. Yeah. So this is a good time for y'all to click like and share, okay? We need your support. So, Mayor Cyber, thank you for coming once again. We're excited to have you.
Welcome back.
Glad to be here.
I know, I'm so excited.
I am too. I'm so glad you won.
I know.
I'm so glad.
I didn't have no doubt. I mean, it would just be completely asinine for him not to.
I know.
I mean, what the devil? Why would anybody do anything else aside from voting for Ken Cyber? It would just be totally despicable. So, how were you feeling the night before voting time?
Well, we had 65 people lined up to work the polls, and just about everybody turned out. And then some people hadn't done this before and said, hey, you know, I kind of like this. We're out in the air. And so we had all the coverage at the 18 precincts or polling locations in Southfield. And we were ready. You know, we had done a lot of walking. We walked since June, and then in October we were rewalking neighborhoods we had walked before, doing a lot of one-on-one with people at their doorstep. Despite COVID, it was great. A lot of people did open their doors to talk. So, of course, when you're in an election, you always got to play it like you're losing. You can't take anything for granted, get overconfident. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
So... but we just kept pressing.
Do you watch the numbers like during the day of?
No, because they don't post anything until after 8. And this year actually, we had our victory party at Wing Hong at 10 Mile in Southfield. I have to give them a plug because this is the oldest continuously operating restaurant in the city of Southfield.
He's right.
Well, Wing Hong. It's on its third generation. So
wow.
I've had my last couple of victory events at that restaurant. And besides that, they're very giving people. They, for instance, they'll be supporting Martin Luther King, our drive peace walk. It's actually a motorized peace walk this year again. In January, they support other events. So, anyhow, we sat there, and everybody had their devices out, and Oakland County started posting, and what was I had right from the get-go with the absentee ballots, I had a 2,100-point lead.
Yes.
And
I was one of them.
Yeah, it grew. It grew to consistently 2,200 votes ahead of my opponent.
That's good.
That's a blessing.
I was just about to say that is really good.
That's a blessing.
And I hope she learned, like, that way of politics is just wrong. Like, maybe if she would have tried to run an honest campaign, things would have been different. But, hey, the right mayor is in the spot.
Or at least tell your people, this is not the way. This is not what I want to do. So please stop, because I don't want that to represent me. Mm-hmm. You know,
right.
Don't encourage it. Don't allow it to go on. I mean, I just have a hard time feeling that she didn't know, only because a person that's doing something like that, they would want her to know. You know, if she
that's getting back to her.
Yeah, of course. If she's not behind it, but I don't like to go with accusations. You know, so I'm just saying. Well,
there was a very nasty text that was sent out that
after you won.
Before that said if Mayor Cyber's stolen from you, call the Detroit Channel 4 in Detroit, and I don't know who did that, but I know if somebody had put that out in my name, I would have disavowed it. And there was no disavowing. And honestly, I don't know where the text came from, but actually, for a moment, I had a moment of, oh gosh, I'd curse, but we're on a clean show.
Okay.
So
this the politics. Say what you got to say.
Yeah, we get crazy. So just say what you got to say. This is shady shenanigans.
Oh shit! I thought for a second, and then I thought this is going to backfire. And what happened after that was an onslaught of emails, text messages, phone calls, people really upset. And then a whole number of people said, I want a lawn sign. We don't want this kind of politics.
You know what's so crazy? And this has nothing to do with the mayor, okay, so please don't associate this, but I seen one of those signs and I wanted so bad to snatch it out, like, fuck this sign, like, but you can't do that, you can't do shit like that, but yeah, I did feel that way, I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, Byron got one of those ridiculous text messages, and I'm like, what? Absolutely not. Like, do I need to write a letter or something so these people could feel stupid of how good this man is? Oh my God.
Well, once again, there was no distancing themselves from that. From that text, no denial or anyhow. It actually worked in my favor, I think, because so many people contacted me with their disgust. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of dirty things in politics, particularly on the national and state level. But what I find. This being my 7th election, that people in the community don't like that. They can't stop it when it's a bigger election, state or national, but they don't like it in their own backyard.
Right.
Yeah, I don't at all. So So this is your last time. This is your last term you were expressing.
Well, you never should say never, but it's 4 years, so.
Okay. I mean, because I know you can't do it forever. I know you want to move on to other things, but I'm just like, can he just remain the mayor forever?
My God.
Oh my God. Yeah, because I don't, I can only imagine who will be running next time, obviously. So, so what does the future look like? Like, what's going forward?
Well,
The future after mayor.
I never took a break. The next day I did sleep till 10:30, which is unusual for me.
Ooh, that sounds good.
But I went to the office and start dealing with the daily stuff. You just people keep calling; they have issues, and we're. This is today. I just came from working at City Hall. Today is the first day of the Big Rake.
Okay.
My volunteer program. We had about 120 volunteers come out. A couple church groups, a ton of LTU students, and they raked 40 yards of seniors and handicapped folks.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
We've done this ever since I've been mayor. I want people to age in place, but for older people, it gets harder and harder to maintain their property. So this program, it's outdoors. Nobody goes in the house or anything like that. And we clean yard or do the fall cleanup. And LTU students need volunteer credits, service credits.
Oh, wow.
And again, Southfield has a lot of older people that are in their homes. And especially if they've been in their home a long time and it's paid for, they should stay in their home.
Yeah.
But they may not be able to get the help they need. And in a number of cases, you have older people here who their family has moved away. Their kids have taken a job in another state or whatever, and they may not have a support system. So this is just one of the volunteer programs I organize every year. And I have to give a shout out to LTU. Those kids, they are tremendous. They're bright, they're respectful, and they do this every year with great enthusiasm.
Is it just a one-day thing?
No, I have companies coming during the week. There are some companies like Durr, Northwestern Highway, that they give their employees a half a day off, and they go out and rake. And they make it a social kind of team event, and then they go out to dinner afterwards. We also, we run it on Saturdays because that's a time when a lot of people are available, and especially the kids, they're in class during the week. But so we're doing November 20th, December 4th, and maybe December 11th. It'll kind of depend on weather and when all these leaves are going to fall.
Yeah. They're trying to get there for sure. They are trying to get there. You had a good question that you wanted to ask.
Oh, well, I just wanted to know, because the last time when we were doing the show, when we talked to you last, you were saying that this could be your last term. Being mayor. And even though you're talking about like a lot of older people that live in Southfield, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of politicians should be younger. And a lot of younger people are pushed in that direction to try to even be, fill these positions or, be a part of these roles, but then to get on social media and be super vocal about what goes on in their community and things like that. So I was just wondering if you have any like plans to kind of push the younger generation into wanting to be a part of that, or, the next mayor be a younger person, maybe in their 30s or 40s or something, that could be like the future of where, moving forward, the future of Southfield or whatever, as opposed to just, I don't know, like whoever will run next.
Well, that's a great question. And the answer is every single election I've been in, I always mentor a younger person. So this time around, it was Jason Hoskins, who is who came in second in this council race. Jason won by 29 votes 2 years ago. He got a 2-year term.
Okay.
and this time he had a significant lead. We walked neighborhoods together. Jason is he's got a law degree. He's a reasonable person. He's even-tempered. Jason is the legislative director for Jerry Moss, our state senator.
Oh, wow.
So he has this Lansing connection. He's headed the council's legislative committee. He's a very valuable asset. So, and he's in his 30s.
So you think he'll be like next up?
Who knows? I don't know what his goals are. I just wanted to see him get elected, and Jason knew that 2 years ago he won by 29 votes. So it was. He worked, and we walked and walked and walked, but. I shared a lot of things with him, and I've also every election I've taken a younger person along with me, as I'm not going to last forever. None of us do, and I think it's important. But anybody, I'd have to say this, Whit, anybody that's going to go into this, and politics attracts some very good people and some people that are in it for all the wrong reasons.
Tell me about it.
I am so disappointed that after all the scandal in Detroit Council, here we go again.
Yeah. They don't learn.
The self-dealing, they're going to get caught.
Yes.
And why? And it's sad to me. I believe in community service, and politician has connotations. I really sincerely look at myself as a public servant. What I do, I could have stayed home today. I could have watched a football game or something, but instead I'm with 120 volunteers cleaning up yards.
Right.
And it's cold out. And it started to rain.
God bless you.
But there are just people that want it for status. They want it to get ahead, or how can they enrich themselves? And these are the people you got to watch these folks. They're not in it for the right reason, and so. I know that Jason, for instance, I endorsed him, I helped him, and it's because I know that he is into public service. And so, yes, encourage younger people, but they got to make sure they're doing it for the right reasons.
Right.
So what do you say to the younger generation that's kind of like me? I've always wanted to be in like city council. The neighborhood I grew up in, we had like parks actually right across 8 Mile. I grew up on the other side. But it was parks and recreations. The park was tore down. They came back and fixed it up. It's like absolutely none of that now. So I've always wanted to be a part of city council, or to do something in my neighborhood where I wouldn't be a part of the complaining about it problem. I would be more a part of the solutions to see it move forward. But you have, like, if I can remember, like, a young politician, growing up, it would be Kwame Kilpatrick and all of the stuff that he went through. And now you see the stuff that Jewel Jones is going through. And, you have some people that's just young and dumb and want to just say, oh, well, they're throwing a book at Jewel Jones like what he did was not wrong. So it's kind of like a catch-22, and it's like, being discouraged a little bit. Like, why, what? I don't know. I guess you kind of answered it as opposed to you just have to be in it for the right reasons. But I could say, knowing Jewel Jones personally, I do think that he was in it for the right reasons. I think he just may have got caught up in the wrong crowd, showed the wrong thing. So, like, how do you re-encourage the discouraged person?
I met him when he was on Inkster Council, and I thought he had great promise.
I did too.
And I think he lost his way. I think it all went to his head. No one's above the law.
Right.
And, I know that some of the statements he made while he was inebriated, but he shouldn't have been in that position.
Right.
And then, come on, bringing a key, really, you're going to lock up and you bring a key.
You didn't know that?
He defied
to the handcuffs. He brought a key. I don't know what he was breaking out of because once you get out of one part, you still got a lot of jail to get out of. So I don't know.
Well, then defying the judge over and over again. It
tampering
just
with his tether.
He just kept digging a hole.
Right.
Is what happened. I met him at an event with Bill Clinton and Jesse Jackson, and it was a small event. It was obviously during Hillary's run for president, and he sat at my table. I thought, wow, but honestly, I hope he straightens out. Not long ago, I had a conversation with Coleman Young Jr., and I think he's learned some things too. We were talking, and he's done a lot of self-reflection, and I hope that in his case that it works out for him. He got elected at a large seat in Detroit City Council. Two other things on if you want to run for office, you got to be a good listener. You got to hear people.
Damn, I'm out. It's like, no, I'm just playing.
No, but it's fine to express your opinions, but in the end of the day, on a council, you're one of 9 or one of 7. You're going to get nowhere if you're not collaborative. If you can't listen, compromise, work with other people. As mayor, I don't have a vote, so I have to work closely with the council. If I have an agenda, which I do, things I want to see happen in our city, well then. I've got to work with the people that do have the vote and compromise or be willing at times. I don't win everything, and I'm fine with that. And sometimes, I think you've made a mistake, council. And obviously they don't think so.
Right.
But you just have to keep going. So you got to be a good listener. You got to be willing to compromise. And I think another fault, some council people become showboaters. In other words, they'll trample over their colleagues. And that's not how you build a relationship, only because their ego is sort of out of control. So these are, there's ways to be very effective, but and if you don't have that personality or that ability, then it's probably not the role to play. You might be better off as an advocate outside the system that is a council watcher or a city government watcher and is advocating that way.
Do you think that being a public figure is hard? I saw the other day how the state's Attorney General Dana Nessel apologized for having fun at the Michigan and Michigan State game a few weeks ago, and I'm like, well, damn, she was off work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I understand people have this idea of perception, but at the end of the day, you're human. Yeah. So it's like, at what point am I off, or are you never off?
No, you're really never, and she is human. We're all human, and and anybody listening to this, I'm sure we've all had an episode where maybe we drank too much, or the drink was too strong, or we didn't have enough food in our
Right.
stomach.
Maybe I didn't have some dumb nights. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm trying not to have one a night.
Yeah, well, and I will tell you, I had a couple of dumb nights, especially when I was in my 20s.
That's acceptable, though.
And, honestly, they kind of scared me that, I was a little out of control there, so.
Oh, not the flashback.
Yeah. But I think, I think her apology was classy. I think, and she made it humorous. So it was, some people will say sorry, and are they really sorry? I don't know. I felt.
I don't think she was really sorry. I think she apologized because they was on her neck about it.
Well,
Let me just apologize to these people so they can shut the fuck up. I think that's what it was. Because I felt like, why are we apologizing for this? Like, for one, this is the biggest game of the whole state.
But she is the attorney general.
So they can't go to games?
That is
Right, or get drunk or whatever. But, in that, okay, they were saying, you making Michigan look bad, or the people of Michigan feel like, don't speak for me, because I was happy to see that we have an attorney general that at the end of the day, she's human. People,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really expect for you to be at home cooped up all day waiting on your next mayor assignment. Like, that would be very crazy. Like, oh, Ken can't party. Oh, if I have a party for my daughter, let me not invite Ken, because if he touched a punch, it's over. Like, what are we doing here? Like, let these people live.
Well, again, you have to remember, she's the chief law enforcement officer for the state of Michigan. Mm-hmm. She has to set a standard, and she's at a very high bar. Mm-hmm.
Well, remind me never to run for attorney general, governor. Let me be on a low level, shit. Because if you see me out there drunk, throw me a shot. Shit.
I think what people forget too is, with anything that you do in life, there comes sacrifices.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to weigh what you want versus the sacrifice. Are you willing to sacrifice to hold this position? And a lot of times we're living in a world now that everybody wants everything. They want it the way they want it, and it doesn't work like that. Even though ideally I agree with what you're saying. She's,
It wasn't like she was belligerent though. Like, if you would have saw her, she literally said she was drinking on an empty stomach. So she got sick at the game. She was sitting in a chair slouched over, like messed up. She wasn't cussing people out around her. She wasn't belligerent. Like, what if, okay, so let's take the drinking out of it, right? Mm-hmm. What if this same picture aroused and she had food poisoning?
Right.
What would you say? Oh, you can't have food poisoning at the Michigan and Michigan State Day. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I get what you're saying, but I also feel like we're in such a time where people have to explain so much of themselves to accommodate a group of people who, half of these motherfuckers was drunk too.
No, and half of them don't even know what's going on. They just talking shit.
You just want to be mad. Like, that goes all the way back to you stealing people's houses. Shit, at the end of the day, actually, if you the mayor, back the mayor now, slide me that list.
Let's qualify that. I didn't steal anybody's house.
Right.
So, okay.
He didn't steal anybody. That was so
crazy.
crazy.
It's that perception. Like, oh, because you have this office, it's on you. And, like, why? You shouldn't have to come out and explain this stuff, though. It's stupid that people even think that you stealing houses. Like, that's crazy that's something you have to explain as the mayor.
It is crazy. And with all of this, I want to ask, what do you think about cancel culture? How do you feel about that?
I'm a historian. I have a history degree. I really, taking down a statue of Abraham Lincoln for some thing, or Thomas, they just removed one of Thomas Jefferson. Terrible things happened in the past. Mm-hmm. The norms that we can look back on them and wow. I mean, and think about it. It's not just a white and black issue. it's gender. Look what women.
Yeah.
Look at religious groups, Native Americans. I mean, there have been. We have some very ugly history, and just in this country alone, but in the world too. I think what we all have to do is we're not going to repeat this. This is not acceptable today. There were things that were acceptable. It was the societal norm, but that doesn't mean that it's not okay. I mean,
Right.
I think we've. The last couple of years with Trump have been very frustrating
Say that again.
and very disappointing. As I said before, I feel in Southfield I've lived in a bubble because I don't deal with that kind of rhetoric. I very rarely ever hear anything prejudicial from anybody, at least in the circles I travel in. But I think you can take cancel culture way too far.
Oh, yes, definitely.
And Thomas Jefferson did some great things. All of a sudden you're going to erase that because he was a slaveholder. And I'm not saying that was okay, but
it's history. It is.
You're
what
saying
it
it
is.
is history.
Right.
At the same time, I think we have to concentrate on where we are today and that we don't tolerate. I mean, for instance, right now there's this whole walkout at Bloomfield Hills High School. I don't know if you're aware of this. There was...
Who? The kids and the teachers?
No, the kids walked out because of racist graffiti in the school and being... minority kids being slurs. That's not acceptable.
No.
At all.
It's not acceptable, and kids should be safe and included and welcomed in a school. So it's a shame that this is happening. But again, we all arrived. We were born in the 21st century. We move forward, and I just can't see condemning people for life for things or trying to erase the past.
And I think my biggest issue with it is the pandering. It's the symbolism, but not really fixing the problem. And I think that I want to ask, like, how much do you believe that it's an agenda to constantly put something up to keep us divided?
Well, one of the Martin Luther King said tons of things, and I don't remember them all. But to me, the most profound thing he said was, judge me by the content of my character and not the color of my skin. And I think a lot of people parrot that, but they don't practice it.
Yeah.
And that, and I certainly felt it in this election.
Yeah.
I did. There's the white guy. One radio commentator said, gee, what's up? Detroit has a white mayor. Oak Park, a white mayor. Pontiac is getting a white mayor. Southfield has a white mayor. What's up with that?
Where? Really? That was this is why I just listen to my playlist, because I ain't. Really? Wow. My bad if this is what the fucking people voted for, but hey, who am I?
Right.
You want a black mayor? Run. It's a fair election, right?
Yeah,
you got to bubble in the name on the ballot. We wanted this white man.
Have a track record.
Yeah.
So, there were, for instance, one of the recent cultural cancellation things was this professor at U of M. that showed an older version of Othello.
Okay.
And he's being condemned, and I'm thinking, why didn't you just look at this movie in the put it in the context of the time?
You're expecting people to think. They ain't gonna do that shit.
Rather than putting it, making a judgment. So I felt sorry for the professor. I just thought, he's got a tremendous creds, and because he wanted to expose his students to a piece that obviously was from years ago, people immediately said it's racist.
The new version is the same, though. The more modern version.
Othello was Othello.
Right. I mean, so even if you would have showed the modern day version, it would have been the same story.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so here's the thing. I think we're in a rock and a hard place, right? Because somewhere being divisive, division is beneficial to somebody because it's still going on. Mm-hmm. So I think even when the people get to the point where we're saying we're tired, there's something else thrown out there. We have gotten to the point, and I think it's really messed up here in the States, where this is about consumerism. That's the thing. How can we sell? How can we? We're at the point where they don't want free thinkers. They don't want you to think on your own. You're policed everywhere now. And it's quite scary. I think at some point, people need to realize, the people have to realize to unplug from the game. Just unplug from it, because we can't say we want change. And I think Morgan Freeman said something. He was asked, how do we get rid of racism or something like that? He said, stop talking about it. Now, most people got really upset at this answer because they didn't understand what he was saying. Mm-hmm. If we stop giving fuel to it, the fire will stop breathing and destroying everything.
But people like drama.
They do.
That's the problem. People want to complain about it. Like, look at what you went through to get back to where you are now. You're blamed for things that had nothing to do with you. It's letters going out to citizens, the residents, of Southfield, slandering you about something out of your control. Nothing is true. You have text messages going out. Somewhere somebody is fueled this drama. Okay, so we're gonna take this and run with it, and then it backfired on them. You know what I'm saying? Which is good, but we gotta stop, like you said, feeding into it and entertaining it. Especially when you're not going to do anything to change.
You ain't going to do a damn thing. A damn thing.
But talk about it.
The other part of this is there are people that need to blame other people. They need a scapegoat.
That's true.
And so they use that as a tactic many times to make themselves feel superior.
Yeah.
Rather than, inward reflection, I recommend it for everybody, including myself. I think a lot about what I'm doing, what I've said, how I could be better, and that's one of the benefits of living longer. I think if you're paying attention, you remember these life lessons.
Yes, with age should come wisdom, and ultimately we are here to learn, and we should be learning and evolving. A lot of people are stagnant, and that's a choice. That's a choice to be stagnant. People, at some point we're going to have to acknowledge that some of you motherfuckers like to be ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Not ignorant, ignorant. It's a difference. It's a difference.
I'm trying to move back to Southfield. I'm trying to see what's up on one of them properties. We're talking about I'm trying to move up in Macy's.
You know what? That did sound delightful, though. It really did. So what is the projection for that? Because that sounds like a huge project.
For Northland?
Yeah.
It is a tremendous project. Just yesterday, I met with the developer. We have constant communication. And a major, two major things are happening there that I'm not at liberty to say. I hate to say that, but
It's cool. We get it.
there is a name,
It's coming along.
a name retailer, let's just put it that way, as well as new plans for Ascension Health to have new facilities on the northern end of Northland. And so they're going gangbusters. They have a very diverse workforce. These are people, by the way, they like to work in established communities. They are very big into redevelopment. They build new, but they are also very big. So they're in Montgomery, Alabama. They're in College Park, Georgia, right outside Atlanta. They are in Greenville, South Carolina. I visited and toured their project in Toledo, Ohio. These are people that are committed to diversity, diverse workforce. And by the way, they've got some top African American women working for them. I mean, the ones that the women that I've interfaced with, they're tremendous. The laborers at Northland are African American, many Hispanics.
Okay, that's dope.
Working there, so it's a family company, and yes, they're Caucasian, but they choose to work in these communities rather than going out to the edge of suburbia.
Yeah.
They wanted, and I think I've told this story, maybe I've told you this story. I do have this standard speech that I do about attracting business to Southfield. I can't tell you how many. I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times. And I'm trying to convince people. And everything from our police response time to our freeway network, our fiber optics, our free parking, no income tax, city income tax, great library, freeways. You can get anywhere from Southfield. This whole thing, I can go on and on about it. And I'm in the middle of this presentation, and I had heard somebody that I've done some real estate work with on behalf of the Southfield Nonprofit Housing Board. Said to me, you ought to meet these guys, Contour Company. I invited them in 2020, February 2020, before the pandemic. And I'm through this spiel of mine, and they put up their hand. They go, "Stop, Mayor. We want to be here. You don't have to." I was doing oversell.
Okay, and they said, "We got it. We didn't bought it."
We want to be in Southfield.
That's good.
We've researched the city. This is where we want to work. And so they're redoing 2 apartment complexes, the Trowbridge and the Atrium on 9 Mile.
Oh, okay.
And then Northland, and they're also going to be doing the McKinley School conversion to market rate condos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is bringing Target back on your list?
Oh, that's what I was about to ask. Can we make that old Kroger Target?
Okay.
What's wrong?
Yeah,
That would be a good
that
idea.
Target-
I understand
Well,
not having Walmart.
I'll just tell you.
You do not need no ghetto mart in Southfield. That Target was enough.
Yeah.
You do not need no.
No,
They put. I don't even understand. They will put a Walmart up, and before you know it, it's empty and ghetto.
Yes, that's true. So, but I think Target there would be dope.
Yeah, because Target in Northland did good. It was like the last building standing.
It's funny you should say that, because originally a Target was slated to go there before Kroger.
Okay.
And the neighborhood didn't want it.
They're
At
haters.
the time. People. The ringleader passed away a number of years ago of the Target.
Not the ringleader. Okay, so we see this where this is going.
Yeah. So, and the Target at Northland, they honestly, to be real with you, they had a lot of stuff going out the back door.
Yeah, that's
No,
what
I
heard, a
know.
lot of
Yeah,
theft.
that's why they wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Because they was staying open. Yeah.
Yeah, I get the police log. There was a lot of shoplifting, but also untrustworthy employees. Stuff was just disappearing out the back door of the store.
Oh my God.
Ultra ghetto.
Yeah, so
Maybe let's try Meyer.
Tire is expensive too.
But the Kroger, the reason they left, first of all, the landlord gave them $1 million reduction on the rent. But they want a gas station, and they want their business model is gas station and drugstore. They couldn't get a drugstore because there's a CVS already in that strip.
Right.
The city said, "Okay, we'll allow you to do at the corner of Providence Drive and Greenfield. We'll give you the gas station." And they want, so they were playing a game. I've met with Kroger a number of times, and honestly, some of their attorneys and their real estate people are very arrogant because we're Kroger, we're big. You should be wanting us. And they really took the landlord of Cornerstone Plaza through the ringer. And he wanted to keep him, but I think they were playing a game. They all along they really wanted to go up the street
to the bigger space.
Well, to the former Kmart, yeah.
And it is nice. But you gotta grab a grocery cart before you can get in there.
The one by my house is like that too. So I think that's just Kroger.
The problem with now I've only been once into the new Kroger. Okay. I shop Foodland because they support our neighborhood.
That's what I'm saying. I was just about to say, put in the what's that called, Glory right there. Yeah. Because I guarantee you, everybody will be at Glory.
Yes,
so it might be good.
Anyhow, when it was on Greenfield in Cornerstone Plaza, it was always dirty.
Yeah.
The store was dirty.
And it took like 50 minutes to talk to somebody at customer service.
Oh my God.
And so I went into the Oak Park store, and I'm in the fruits and vegetables produce section, and there's all this stuff on the floor. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing. It's management. You get what you tolerate.
You gotta say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do have. We need to complain more.
Yeah, because I can't even lie. It's like that at the Kroger in Saginaw, the one by my house. Mm-hmm. It's dirty. The produce is not fresh. Like, what is this commercial about? If every time I come in here, the produce is nasty.
Well, we need something. Can they put an Aldi there? Put something.
Well, of course, there is an Aldi's up the street.
Yeah.
Right next to the new.
Which is perfect because that's where I shop. And I do Foodland. But, yeah.
So...
Foodland high.
They are.
No, 8 Mile, yeah, Foodland high. You need to put a Glory somewhere out there. We need a Glory inside. That's why
but all of those type of grocery stores, the meat is affordable, but the shelf items are expensive. So what you do is, like, I'll go to Foodland and get some meat.
Yeah, me too.
But then I'll go to Kroger and get my shelf items.
Yeah, or Meyer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do a juggling that because you know we got kids. You know.
I know.
I have kids. I need and dog.
Man, what else? What else I want to know? We don't have that much time, y'all. This has been a very good episode.
I got off on a little bit of a tangent, but so what can you expect for the next 4 years?
I think Southfield will be just like it was, a very clean city moving forward.
Well,
like, you do a lot of work in the community, a whole lot.
It's like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood over there.
We are, our emphasis going forward is definitely going to be on more neighborhood streets, street repairing. We've done a lot with major roads and secondary roads, but we've really got neighborhoods that truly need resurfacing or replacement. Mm-hmm. You're also going to see speed bumps.
I seen that on Midway. Almost took my car out.
Well,
I was like,
He said, "Okay, slow down."
It was. It's like
You got it, Whit.
I seen the head now. He said, "Well,
Yeah. So
slow the fuck down."
I mean, but even 30, like you gotta go slow with a speed. You gotta.
Honey, you're in a
What-
neighborhood. You never.
what is the
know.
speed limit?
But
Raquel?
Isn't it 25 or 30?
It's
15
25 miles an hour.
Ooh, it's not
in
30.
on
Okay.
a residential street.
But they should start putting speed bumps on streets because that's how that kid in Dearborn got hit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do need to because see these idiots with these scat packs and all of
Yeah.
that, they flying down because that's a straight street. Midway is
Midway,
on that
yeah.
and Melrose is prime time example of vroom,
Yeah,
vroom.
right. These
Yeah.
straightaways are problems in neighborhoods. So we're piloting it this fall, and then in next year's budget, we're going to be adding more speed bumps to residential neighborhoods. But other things.
Can y'all add like a light on 8 Mile? You know when you hit those things across the street,
the traffic.
crosswalk things for like pedestrians.
8 Mile is a state road, and that's.
I'm gonna ask Whitmer.
Yeah, ask Whitmer.
I still know her people email from when I worked at the news.
But other things you're gonna, I'm certainly gonna continue working on. We need 3 types of housing. We need affordable housing. We need housing, subsidized senior housing. We have a waiting list that's safe and clean senior housing. But we also need housing for young millennials or professionals and that are market rate. And we need housing for, there's a whole bunch of people here that want to get out of the big house. Their kids are gone. But their church, their friends, their family, their social world is all in Southfield. So they don't want to move out of the city. So we need housing for them that a new model of condo, particularly first floor masters. So these are things that I'm going to be working on, as well as more public art, more trails, more sidewalks, more replacing water mains, all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Well, we look forward to the remainder of your term because we know it's going to be an excellent one. We thank you so much for coming out to the show. We have ran out of time. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for
Tune
your
in
support.
Tuesday at 7.
Please share, like, share, like. And yes, tune in to Sports Talk. We'll see you next time. Check in at RockyRoadMedia.com and keep up with our shows. Love you guys.